Alright, so we wrote down our I can statement, right? I can recognize when relationships presented in tables, so we're going to talk about tables today, diagrams, which is just another fancy word for looking at pictures, and verbal, meaning written statements, descriptions can be represented by a constant unit rate. Okay? So the first thing we're going to look at is our vocabulary. So I need you to get out your highlighter. Pick a highlighter color. I don't care. I need highlighters. When we are doing notes and when we are studying, we don't highlight everything. We only highlight the most important information that stands out to us. Okay? So our first vocabulary word that we're going to highlight is unit rate. Now you had the unit rate last year, but in between the summer and when you did unit rate, you forgot it, most likely. But unit rate is a rate in which the second quantity in the comparison is 1. Now that sounds like a bunch of jibber jabber to me. So we're going to make some notes over these words. Okay? Another word for rate, when you hear rate, you should be thinking ratio. Okay? You should be thinking of a ratio. So in a ratio, the second quantity means number, so the second number in the comparison, another word for ratio, okay, isn't that how we represent a ratio with the 2 dots, with the colon, is 1. So what that chops up to mean is when you have a ratio and the second number is a 1, then it is a unit rate. So when we think of a unit rate, we need to think of some number in a ratio where the second number is a 1. So every time we see unit rate, we're going to write this to remind ourselves what unit rate is until we remember it. Okay? Does that make sense? So in a unit rate, what are we looking for? A 1, and where's the 1 going to be? You're on YouTube right now. Where in the comparison? The ratio is the comparison. Where is the 1 in the ratio when we're talking about a unit rate? The second number in a ratio is 1. So how do we know it's a unit rate? The second number in a ratio is 1. Okay? Don't look at all this jibber jabber. Look at the notes we made above it to make it make more sense. Okay? Because we don't talk like this. The second quantity in the comparison. We don't talk like that, do we? No, the second number in the ratio is 1. That's how we talk. All right, the next vocabulary word. Constant rate. Rate means what?
Ratio.
Well, there's that note over here. Rate means
Ratio.
all right, so a constant rate or a constant ratio. What do you know about the word constant?
It happens.
Happens more than once. It happens over and over and over. It doesn't change when it happens over and over and over? No, it's the same. So the rate or the ratio stays the same. We know it's constant when it stays the same. Alright, so we've got an example here. Example number 1. There's a table. It says the table shows how many ounces of salsa you get when buying small jars of salsa. Y'all seen in the grocery store the little jars of salsa? Okay? So we've got a table here. It says when there are 4 jars of salsa, there's a total of 32 ounces. When there are 8 jars, there's a total of 64 ounces. And on and on. That's how we read it, right? In part A, they want us to look to see, is there a pattern in the rows? Rows run left to right, side to side. So here's a row, here's a row. Okay? Look and see if you can find a pattern. Is it skip counting? Is it doing something fancy? Paring.
Times 6. Oh, no.
Jacob? The first row is going by 4s. So this is the first number. So 4 times 1 is 4. Then 4 times 2 is
8.
4 times 3 is 4 times 4 is
16.
okay. So it's skip counting by 4. Or in math language, if we're talking about the jars, they're multiples. Remember, multiples means skip counting. Multiples of 4. Good. The next one's a little bit more tricky because they're bigger numbers. What's the pattern there? What's the pattern? It's skip counting by 32s. 32 times 1 is 32. 32 times 2 is 64. 32 times 3, if we did the math, is 96. So we could write that the ounces are multiples of 32. All right, so in part B, we want to describe the pattern in the column. So if rows run side to side, columns are going to be
Up and down.
up and down. Columns run up and down. Okay? So we've got 4 over 32 in one column. We've got 8 over 64 in another column. And we have 12 over 96 in the other column. Oops, that's not 19. Over 96. What pattern do you notice about those columns? Jaden?
They're both so 4. So 4 is so 32 is in 4's multiples.
All right, 32 is in 4's multiples. I like it. What do you have to multiply 4 by to get the 32?
7.
Close. I heard it. 8. Good, Jade. Good. So if you were to list 4's multiples, 32 would pop up. So I have to multiply by 8 to get to 32. What do I have to do to the 8 to get to 64? 8 times what equals 64?
8.
8. All right. 12 times what equals 96? This is where our math facts are important. 8. Good, Michael. So what's the pattern that you saw here?
Is multiplied by 8.
Multiples of 8. Good. So it's important that we can recognize those patterns. Were they the same every time? Do we multiply by 8 every time in those columns? Yeah? Okay. Good. So using those rules in part C, we want to finish the table? Okay? How do we want to finish the table? Jacob? You could use the box method. What if we also use one of these rules? What if we looked at the rules? What did we skip count by on the top row?
4.
So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20.
Oh,
It's okay. All right, and then you could either, we said on the bottom row, what did we skip count by? 32. Okay, now I may not be able to skip count by 32 really well. But what did we go do to the, based off of the columns, what rule did we follow going from the top to the bottom? What did we have to do? What did we go, what, look at part B. Times 8. So what's 16 times 8?
28.
All right. Well, what's 20 times 8?
160.
Good. Are we good? Okay. All right, let's look at part D. It says, describe the relationship between ounces of salsa and small jars using unit rate. I'm going to ask you an ELA question right here. What is the verb in this question or this statement? What's the action?
What are you doing?
You're describing.
You're what, Michael?
Describing.
You're describing and you are using as well, okay? But the first verb here is the describing. That's what it wants you to do. And they want you to use the unit rate to describe it. Okay? What are you describing?
Ounces of salsa and small jars.
All right, we're describing the relationship between what? The ounces and the small jars. Using that vocabulary word again, unit rate. And remember, when we think about unit rate, we're thinking some number in a ratio where the second number is a
1.
good. Well, it wants us to use the unit rate. Do we have the unit rate? Do you have a ratio here where this from this table in part C where the second number, which is the small jars here, where small jars is 1. In this table, do we know where the small jars are 1? No. Well, if they want us to use it, we kind of have to find it. We have to have it. Okay? So to find unit rate, these notes are important. To find unit rate, you have two options. Your first option is a ratio box. And in your ratio box, that top right will always be the number you're looking for. And the bottom right will always be your 1. Your second option is to make it a fraction and then to simplify. So to simplify the fraction, because didn't we say a ratio can be written as a fraction? Haven't we said that before?
this group's done a phenomenal job taking the notes as you're writing.
Good, that makes me happy.
Yes. Pretty much everybody is writing everything down. Keep it up.
All right, so we do know that order matters. What do they want us to put first?
The ounces of salsa.
Ounces first, okay? So they want ounces on top, and they want jars on the bottom. You can. She asked if she could abbreviate it, and that's fine. All right. Do we want to use a ratio box, or do we want to use a fraction? Fraction, okay. We'll do the next one as a ratio box, okay? We'll show this one as a fraction, the next one as a ratio box, and you can decide which one you want to do. Okay? So, as a fraction, come back up to your table. It does not matter which column you pick from. Okay? So let's just pick the first column. 4/32. How many ounces are in the first column?
32.
You gotta pay attention. That's how they get sneaky with it. Alright, ounces are 32. And the jars are 4. So if we want to simplify it, all you have to do, remember, put it in your calculator. 32/4 in your calculator, and then hit enter. Let everybody do it. Don't shut it out. That's what that keeps in mind. Some people are faster at the calculator than others. 32/4. Hit enter. Gives me a whopping 8. Okay, well, if I wanted to make this 8 a fraction, what would the denominator be? Remember, anything over 1, okay? You put a 1 under any of it, and it makes it a fraction. If I wanted to change this fraction form to the ratio form, what would it look like? 8 dot dot 8 to 1. Isn't that the same form that when we took our notes about unit rate that it was supposed to look like? Some number in the first one and then a 1 in the second one? Isn't that what's here?
Yes.
So we did it correctly. Alright. What were we, I know we kind of coming full circle here. What were we trying to find? We simplified a fraction to find the unit rate. So 8/1 is our unit rate. But that's not what the question was asking. That's what we had to use. This is why we make notes in the problem so that we can check to see what we did. We found unit rate, right? We could check that off, but have we described anything yet? No. This describe the relationship is like putting it in those sentences we used last week. For, you remember how we had this sentence, for every blank blank, there are blank blank. Do y'all remember those from last week? Okay? So you could write it as for every 8 ounces, for every 8 ounces, there is how many jars? Go back to your ratio. For every 8 ounces, there are, go back to your unit rate right here. If there are 8 ounces, there is 1 jar. For every 8 ounces, there is 1 jar. You may also hear it as there is 8 ounces per jar. But this is what they were looking for. That 8 ounces to 1 jar is your unit rate. So we describe using unit rate. Okay? Look at part E. It's basically the same exact thing, because what is the action here? Describe the relationship using the unit rate. All right, remember every time we saw unit rate, we were gonna. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. There it goes. For the diagram below, did they tell us in order to write things? You know, over here how it said ounces to small jars. Did they tell us this information over here? No, most of the time they're going to tell you, but because they didn't, we're going to use the same order that they told us in part D. We're still going to go with ounces first and then jars. So we're going to do ounces over jars. Now the last time we did a fraction, and so I told you this time we do it as a ratio box. Okay? We're doing ounces to jars, ounces to jars. Because we're doing the unit rate, we're trying to figure out how many ounces are in 1 jar. Well, look at the picture. How many ounces are there? 48 ounces. How many jars are in the diagram?
4.
How do we solve for x? Cross multiply 48 times 1 and then divide it by 4, which gives me the number of 12. What is 12 here?
The second number, which is 1.
All right, so if the second number is supposed to be 1, what is this? What were we trying to find? It was x, but what did x represent?
Ounces.
What have we, it did represent ounces. I heard it. Back to the problem. What was it?
Unit rate.
The 12 was your unit rate. So how can I put this into a sentence to describe the relationship? Use this as a tool, as a template. For every blank blank, there are blank blank. Who wants to attempt it? All right, KK. You got it. For every, how many ounces? For every blank ounces, there are, or there is, blank jars. How many ounces did we find? 12 ounces. There is how many jars? 1 jar. Isn't that what we said? 12 ounces, 1 jar. Look at part G. It's asking, is the relationship represented in the table the same that is represented in the diagram? Is this answer and this answer the same? This answer and this answer, are they the same? We got 8 and we got 12. Are those the same? No. This is 12 ounces in one jar. This is 8 ounces in one jar. Which jar is going to be bigger? The 12 ounces. So are they the same size jars? No. So no. We're just going to put no for now. No. They have different what? What did the ounces and the sizes represent? What did we find it as? They have different unit rates. What did we find?
They have different units.
Okay, good. All right, turn the page. We got more tables. This time, the tables we're looking at avocados to their price and avocados and their weight. Okay, so two separate tables. Part A is asking, can the relationship between the price and the number of avocados be described with a what? Constant rate. What did constant rate mean? It was a rate or a ratio that happens over and over and over again. So to find constant rate, because you're going to be asked this, I might want to say constant rate, and then I might want to highlight it. To find the constant rate, you're going to find unit rate for each. That's the first thing you're going to do. So for each one, you're going to find the unit rate. Then you're going to compare. If they are the same, or if they're constant, then it's a constant rate. If your unit rates are different, then it is not a constant rate. So what order do they want us to do first? Price first, right? Then what? Then the number. Okay? So our first step is to find the unit rate, which is what we did on the first page. We have two options, ratio boxes or fractions. Fractions for this are going to be faster. Okay, that's why we're going to do this. So these will make a fraction, these will make a fraction, and all the way down. We want price first over the number of avocados. So we've got $1.25 over 1. Michael, put that in your calculator, find the answer. We've got $2.50 over 2. Skylar, put that in your calculator and find that answer. We've got $3.75 over 3. Tinley, put that in your calculator and find it. You've got $5 over 4. Kari, you do that one. Kaylee, you do 625 over 5. Michael, what'd you get? 125. $1.25. Skylar, what'd you get? Who did I say for 3? Tinley. Corey. And Kaylee. What do you notice about all of those? They are all the same. These are all unit rates. Okay? We found the unit rates. And they are all the same. So if they are the same, then it is a constant rate. It's a yes. Do you see how fractions are faster? Instead of having to make a ratio box every time. All right, Lane, get ready because I'm coming to you. Jaden, I'm coming to you. Get ready. All right, in part B, we're looking at weight to number this time. So which table are we going to look at? The first one or the second one? The second one because it's got weight to number. Okay? So we want what on top? Weight over the number of avocados. All right, Lane, for the first one, do 7 over 1. Jeremiah, do 13 over 2. Jaden, do 20 over 3. Jacob, do 26 over 4. And, okay, Corey, do 34 over 5. All right, Lane, what'd you get? 7. Jeremiah, what'd you get? 13 over 2. And if you hit those double arrows, what do you get? To change it to a decimal. Who did I say 20 over 3? 2. All right, Jaden. Okay, we just left it 20 over 3. You could change it to a decimal, which would be 6.6 or something. All right, Jacob, what'd you get? And Corey? What do you notice about those?
They're not the same.
They're not the same at all. So if we found the unit rates, and if they're different, what's our answer? No, it's not a constant unit rate. It's no. They have different unit rates. You are going to do this exact same thing on your homework tonight. You're going to have to find the unit rates and decide, are they the same or are they different? Okay? Use your notes. They should help you. All right. Put that, we didn't make it to the sticky note. Put the sticky note where we left it off, where it says we tried. Put it there. Pack it up. You got 3 minutes until the bell. Pack it up. This goes in the notes section of your binder. It's got holes, so it does not go in the pockets. Put it behind the notes section of your binder. Heads of the family, make sure your people's areas are cleaned up nice and neat for me.